Today we are going to talk about several cross-platform development tools for mobile application. We're going to talk about React Native, NativeScript, Flutter, and progressive web apps. React Native is one of the popular cross-platform framework for mobile application development. It's based on React, a JavaScript library written by Facebook. By using only JavaScript, you can build mobile applications for both Android and iOS. Web developers can now write mobile applications that look and feel truly native, all from comfort of a JavaScript library that we already know well and love. There are several big companies that currently use React Native framework, such as Facebook, Instagram, Tesla, Uber, and Skype, so on and so forth. React Native comes with some features and advantages. It allows you to build an app faster. Instead of recompiling, you can reload your app instantly. With hot reloading, you can even run new code while retaining your application state. With React Native, you don't build a mobile web app, HTML app, or a hybrid app because React Native uses the same fundamental UI building blocks as regular iOS and Android apps. It's simple to drop down to native code if you need to optimize a few aspects of your application, because React Native combines smoothly with components written in Objective-C, Java, and Swift. So it is very convenient for developers to switch to native code whenever they think it is needed. Certainly, there are some drawbacks about React Native. As the project is still relatively young, iOS support was released on March 2015, and Android support was released on September 2015. The documentation in websites such as Stack Overflow certainly has rooms for improvement and continues to evolve. Some features on iOS and Android still aren't supported, and the community is still developing. This is an example describing how the mobile application being built partly in React Native and partly using native code. And that is also how the Facebook app currently works.
Now let's talk about NativeScript. NativeScript is a framework which allows developers to build native cross-platform mobile apps using JavaScript or language which would transpose to JavaScript. By using this technology, mobile apps behave as if they were developed by professional IDEs such as Android Studio or Xcode. Let's see how it works. NativeScript is not only a set of libraries, but also a runtime which allows mobile apps to call native APIs for different platforms. A prepackaged JavaScript virtual machine is used by NativeScript. The JavaScript code will be interpreted and executed there. Method calls for native APIs are delegated to the metadata. Moreover, there are a set of available APIs for different platforms, which are built in advance for looking up type signatures for variables and methods. Then, data would transfer from JavaScript to NativeScript by using type conversion modules and vice versa. Finally, the dispatcher would be called to finalize the nature API function calls. Also, the dispatcher is responsible for passing back the results. This means that any functions and type available from the mobile platforms are accessible by using NativeScript. There are three kinds of developing tools, which are NativeScript Playground, Sidekick, and CLI. Here is a screenshot for Playground. Developers would download NativeScript Playground from App Store or Google Play. After scanning the QR code, they would type in code or directly dragging the components from the sidebar to editor. By clicking Preview, the UI of the app would be shown on the screen of the devices, which scanned the QR code before. It's quite easy and accessible for beginners. Besides, there are also other features for NativeScript. It's free and open source. The plugins from Gradle or CocoaPods would be directly reused in NativeScript. Different levels of supporting, such as developing level, enterprise level, and professional service, could be provided by the core teams if required.
Let's talk about Flutter. Flutter is a mobile app SDK developed by Google, and the idea is that you can use a single code base to develop apps for iOS and Android. So who is using Flutter? Google used Flutter to build some of their apps like Google AdWords and Google Green Tea. Besides, Alibaba used Flutter to build some part of their apps, but basically Flutter is in its early stage, so it's not widely used for production for now. So what is special about Flutter? One thing is Dart. Google used Dart instead of JavaScript as the programming language for developing Flutter. Another important feature is widgets. Widgets is the basic building block of a Flutter app's user interface. So everything is a widget in Flutter. So you need to define almost every aspect of the user interface, like buttons, menus, fonts, colors, or paddings in the widgets. So why would we use Flutter? One important thing is that Flutter is super fast. The main reason is that Flutter uses a C++ engine, and besides, Google always try to make Dart and Flutter connect tightly so they can work along well. Also, Flutter is very convenient to develop. It can be integrated with popular development tools like IntelliJ and Android Studio. It also supports hot reloading, so you don't need to wait for several hours or even several days for your code to recompile. One more important thing, Flutter supports relatively complete feature sets. So as you can see in the picture, Flutter supports more feature sets than React Native. So unlike React Native, you don't need to always refer to some third-party packages for the features you want. So you can get almost everything you want in Flutter. If there are any reasons why we don't use Flutter, I would say first, Flutter is still in beta now. It's in its early stage. It's not that mature. Besides, Dart is not a popular programming language like JavaScript. So most people don't know Dart. So if you wanna build a Flutter app, you need to learn Dart first.
Next, I would like to introduce the progressive web apps. Next, I would like to introduce the progressive web apps. Let's begin with the question, why we build apps on the web? It is a recent breakdown comparing monthly unique visitors to the 1,000 top apps and sites. And what you see is that the web reaches 3 times as many people. Historically, though, most users have visited the web in passing, particularly in mobile, where it is a lot harder to type a URL than it is to tap on the home screen icon. You might like to watch a video clip or an article. You are not that likely to come back later. Because native apps have access to the features, the icon on home screens, the push notification. Users who engage deeply with the service on their phone have tended to do so through apps. So looking the time spending on those same apps and sites, the average time for the apps is much higher than it is for the mobile web. So the opportunity here is pretty clear. What if you could give users a deep, engaging experience as soon as they're landing on your website? What if they could get a native-like experience from the web? So here comes the progressive web apps. Progressive web apps are web applications that look like regular web pages or websites, but it can offer the user functionality that usually on their native apps, such as the working offline push notification and the device hardware such as Bluetooth or the camera. There are three features of the PWA: reliable, fast, and engaging. And the Service Worker and Manifest are two key technologies that support those three features. When launched from the user's home screen, Service Worker enables a progressive web apps to load instantly, regardless of the network state. It is like a client-side proxy and put you in control of the cache and how to respond to the resource request. By pre-caching key resources, you can eliminate the dependence on the network, ensuring an instant and reliable experience for your user. And the web app manifests allow you to control how your apps appear and how it launched. You can specify home screen icons, that page to load when the app is launched, screen orientation, and even whether or not to show the browser. Next, let me show you a demo of the Twitter PWA. First, you can add the PWA to your home screen, and just tap an icon. You can access the PWA app. It works very smoothly, just like a native apps, and you can display the browser. As you can see, it can also use the camera. Yes, that's it. And that's all our presentation. Thank you.